Welcome back, everyone. We're continuing our conversation about an Amazon movie that's called We Wear the Mask, The Hidden Face of Poverty. And Tammy, want to talk to you about one of the ladies in the movie. And what she said was, it's not always about working hard enough or wanting success badly enough. Sometimes things just really have to fall into place. Speak to those people who might view poverty with the mindset of, oh, you're poor because you're just not trying hard enough. And the one that I absolutely hate, you're lazy. Tammy?
Yeah, this is the one that really gets to me, because as somebody who worked really, really, really hard to get out of poverty and continues to work in the arena of helping other people get out of poverty, I see firsthand how hard people are working. And the reality is people want it to be an individual issue. Poverty is not an individual issue. Obviously, yes, we do have to hold ourselves accountable for our own personal choices. Absolutely. But you have to also consider the other factors, the environment, right? We have a very large demographic, very large portion of this country that are barely earning enough money to put food on the table. And there's a lot more people who are working jobs that do not pay livable wages than there are people who are just sitting around and not doing anything. So this bootstrap mentality is, it needs to stop, because we're expecting people to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, and in most cases, they don't even have boots. So, I know that folks who are working these jobs that are working 2, 3, sometimes 4 jobs and still can't pay their rent. They still can't afford food. They can't afford medications. So we really have to get out of that mindset and figure out what can we do as far as policies and systems that will help break this path that people find themselves on, and these traps that people find themselves in as far as poverty goes.
Veniecia, talk about how you feel when you hear people say, oh, you're poor because you're lazy.
So I just look back on the time where I think about the things like the cliff effect. Mm-hmm. So I was on Section 8. Section 8 was only paying $50 of my rent. So I'm like, I might as well just go rent a house, somewhere else and pay market value rent. Those programs aren't really designed to help you. At that time, I was a single parent of 2 children. I was in school full time, working full time, and working 2 jobs.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got to stop you, because how do you do that? I think of myself, and some days you just think, okay, it's just so hard. How can I do it? But then, what stops me? I think about single moms and single dads out there. I think, well, dang it, if they can do it, then others have really very little to complain about, because how do you do that on your own?
It takes you have to be in a certain place mentally. Mm-hmm. So for some people who've experienced trauma, like I have 6 other siblings that are still struggling and deeply in poverty. Mm-hmm. I just happen to be that one person who was able to, pull myself up by my bootstraps, if that's a term.
This is why I think the studying of how trauma, how poverty trauma is a very real thing. And you don't hear people speak to that term very often, but there is a trauma associated with not having your most basic needs met on a regular basis. And we overlook that. And the reason I think we overlook it is because as a society, we lean towards blaming the victim. We lean towards blaming them. So if they're there because they put themselves there. And that's not true, because we don't do that with any other sort of trauma.
Well, thank you to you both for sharing your stories. These are stories that need to be told. And, I just really appreciate you being so open. And we want to make sure that we're offering a discussion that will hopefully help others out there. So again, the documentary is called We Wear the Mask, The Hidden Face of Poverty, and you can find it on Amazon. Ladies, thank you so much. Be well out there.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you too. All right, everyone, stay with us. More of our show when we come back.